Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Football Betting Podcast, your home for tips, insight, and discussion to inform your weekly accumulators. I'm your host, Tom Pipkin. I'm joined, as ever, by my co-host, Tom Walker.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. Thank you for taking the time to tune in, new and old listeners. For audio listeners, I just want to let you know that Tom has added half a calendar into his background. So we're getting there. We're getting there. I can see half of it. I can see it's February.
Can you see who it is? Do you want me to just tilt
I'm
the
guessing
camera?
it. I'm guessing it's a Forest one, no?
Got the it's covered by the picture. It's the mighty Jed Spence for February.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, at least we're populating the background piece by piece. Maybe next week we'll have a full calendar.
Yeah.
But no, good to be back.
Definitely.
Agonizing. Last week we had the added drama, so that the treble lost by one leg, but we had the added drama of having to wait till Sunday, and the extra added drama of it being our beloved Nottingham Forest. And it turns out that we backed them basically in their worst performance under Steve Cooper, comfortably.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. So, we'll cover the treble in detail later on in the show. But, yeah, just very disappointing, wasn't it? Of all the games for Forest to put in such a shocking performance, it's when we needed them to land a treble that was a 10.5, I think it was.
It was massive.
Boosted by Matchbook. So, yeah, a 10.5 treble lost on Sunday by Forest. So, very disappointing there. Of course, we'll bring you another boosted treble by Matchbook at the end of this show as well. Pretty packed show to go through today, isn't it? We've got football coming at us from all angles in terms of competitions. We've got FA Cup, there's the Premier League, there's the Champ, League One, League Two. So we're going to rattle through the vast majority of it, picking out our betting highlights from each individual competition. Spoiler alert, Premier League, there is nothing that we like. But we'll talk about it briefly anyway. So shall we kick off with the FA Cup? It's worth saying that all the odds we read out on the show today are going to be taken from our sponsors at Matchbook.com, and you can get a £20 money back as cash sign-up offer if you use the sign-up code TFB podcast during the registration form. So please do check that one out and help support the pod. So Tom, FA Cup. We had a pretty good success rate in round 3, especially in terms of the giant killings that we picked out. I couldn't really find many on the giant killing front at all in terms of round 4. But there are a few things that I know we both like the look of.
Yeah, agreed. You know me, Tom. I absolutely love the FA Cup. I love giant killing. So I was doing my absolute best to try find something, but yeah, came up empty-handed, unfortunately. Just quick disclosure on the FA Cup. So obviously, team selection, it gets more and more serious as it goes on, of course, but we are only in the 4th round. So, some teams, this is only their second game in the tournament. So it's worth checking your team selections before you back any of these games. But I did find something. I will get us started off with an obvious one, I think. Huddersfield Town. They're at home to Barnsley in an all-championship affair at 1.7. I mean, Tom, if this was a championship fixture, we'd be absolutely lapping up the Terriers. They haven't lost in 11. And Barnsley, Tom, we've mentioned time and time and time again, this is one of the worst championship teams we've seen, possibly in history. They've won one of their last 13, which was against Barrow of League Two. And if you remember, that was the last round of the FA Cup. They almost threw that away against 10 men of League Two, Barrow at Oakwell. Joint worst away record in the league, just 4 points won. These teams did draw 1-1 at Oakwell on the 4th of December, but I'm happy to roll the dice with Huddersfield here. And to be honest with you, I thought they'd be a lot shorter than 1.7.
Yeah, I agree, especially at home as well. More than happy to go to Huddersfield there. I had that on myself. Barnsley, I think I fancy anyone against Barnsley, to be honest at the moment.
I think it's totally fair.
So, yeah, 1.7 for this Huddersfield side in good form. Let's gobble that up. Another team nearly identically priced, Wolves, 1.71. So just a slight touch over the Huddersfield price. They're at home to Norwich. And again, in this all Premier League affair, I think we can count on Wolves to get a win. They've won 5 of the last 6 games. That goes across all competitions, of course, like Premier League and FA Cup. Winning the last 4 on the bounce as well. Obviously, without Adama Traore now, gone to Barcelona in the January transfer window. But even despite that, I think they're going to have more than enough with the run that they're on to beat Norwich, especially at home as well. Wolves' home form generally pretty good. They've lost just 1 of the last 7 home games, winning 5. And I think they're just going to have a bit too much for Norwich, I think, at the moment, whose priority has to be survival from the Premier League here. Has to be. Wolves are one of those sides who they're not going to get. I highly doubt they're going to get Europe unless they really do string a run together towards the back end of this season. They're not going to go down. So for Wolves, why not give the FA Cup a really good go and try and get as far as you can?
Yeah, well, they can probably look at Leicester and see what it did for Leicester and the day out and all that stuff it gave their fans, totally. I think Norwich, their revival is a bit of a fugazi, a little bit of a woozy, because I was having a look and they've kind of turned the corner, but their 3 wins that they've got recently, their most recent 3 wins: League One Charlton, Rafa's last game at Everton when they were a complete joke, and Ranieri's last game at Watford when they were in a mess. So I think they're very fortunate to be playing those teams at the right time, and they've beaten the League One side. So definitely improving, but I'm not ready to start jumping all over Norwich. Absolutely not. I know we've got a matching tip, Tom. So I will leave that one for you, and I will just quickly hop into Sunday. So East Midlands derby time, Nottingham Forest, Leicester City. Taking my kind of Forest hat off and putting my football betting podcast hat on, I think I'm going to go for away and both teams to score. So Leicester and both teams to score. It's priced at a very big 3.95. Forest have been great, as we mentioned at the top of the show. Second in the league table for form since Steve Cooper came in. They scored in 5 of the last 6. The only game they didn't score in is a game they lost 1-0 against Huddersfield, and they absolutely battered Huddersfield. They could have scored 5 that night. Davis is scoring. Sam Surridge has come in as a January transfer addition. Obviously, Brennan Johnson remains a constant threat. They've got goals in the team. Leicester have been poor on the road, actually, when I was doing my research here. But I think they're so dangerous against Premier League opposition. I think they'll find it relatively easy to score goals against Forest, unfortunately. They're scoring 2.83 goals per game in their last 6 in all comps. Tom, that includes playing Liverpool twice, Man City and Tottenham. So they're absolutely firing at the moment. I think Forest could cause an upset for sure, but I think Leicester will take this very seriously. It's their trophy, it's their defence. Similar to Wolves, Tom, as you said, they're probably not going to get, the Champions League, maybe Europa League spot at best. So why not try and defend what's theirs? 3.95 Leicester and both teams to score.
That's a cracking price. I really like that. Yeah, do definitely like that tip. The final FA Cup one for me, and I think to round off this section, QPR away at Peterborough. QPR priced at 2.12. Peterborough they've got a problem, haven't they? Defensively, they're terrible. Offensively, they're just not showing much at all, and that is the least you'd expect, I think, from a Peterborough side. But they're struggling to get on the score sheet. They're conceding plenty of goals. In the last 4 championship games, they've conceded 2 against Sheffield United, 2 against Birmingham, 3 against West Brom, and 4 against Coventry. 2 of those being home games as well. So conceding at least 2 goals in the last 4 championship games. Remember, this is an all-championship fixture. Unless the packs and the team selections are shuffled a lot, I think it's going to be another repeat for me. I think QPR, with the run they're on, they've won 6 of the last 7 games, full of confidence, in great form. And I feel the same way about Peterborough as I do about Norwich. This is more of a distraction. I think even we talk about Darren McAnthony in his podcast a fair bit on this show, but I'm sure that he's even said on the podcast that he feels like the cup is a distraction from them getting survival and in the league. So if that's coming down from the top, they're thinking this is a distraction. They potentially don't want to risk key players getting injured, whatever, I don't know. I just think QPR at 2.12 are a fantastic price against this Peterborough side who probably don't even want to be in the cup. And they're conceding shitloads of goals. So
yeah, I had that down, as you can imagine. Again, similar to the Barnsley fixture. If it's a league game, you're backing QPR all day, aren't you?
Yeah.
Tom, before we move on from the FA Cup, give me your potential upset of the weekend. I know I've put you on the spot. We haven't rehearsed this, so I'll give you a bit of time. I will give you mine. I think if I'd to chuck a speculative fiver on someone, I think I would back Middlesbrough at Manchester United on Friday night.
Wow. 11.5 for Middlesbrough to get the win.
I think that's what I would do. We're not saying these are tips, but just for a bit of fun, if you had to pick me an outsider, who you selecting?
Wigan 4.9 away at Stoke.
Okay.
Wigan unbeaten in 20, so obviously top of League One, doing very well there. So I think could very well be a Championship fixture next season. 4.9 for Wigan seems like a fairly big price, and I don't think it'd surprise an enormous amount of people if they did actually beat Stoke.
True.
Okay, well, that is the FA Cup then. Sorry, there's not some massive upsets that we've got for you here like we did last round, but we've got, we work with what we've got, right? So let's quickly just gloss over the Premier League because we've got Burnley against Watford playing on Saturday. I don't like anything. You don't like anything, do you? So this is just a no bet in terms of the one Premier League game for this weekend.
This is a no bet and it's a no watch as well. It'd be bloody horrible. Let's move on to a quick message from our sponsors at Matchbook. So we are absolutely delighted to be working with Matchbook. Not only are they great partners and offer a great product, they're great people as well. And we're really, really enjoying working with them. And we're hoping everyone that has signed up to Matchbook is having an absolutely fantastic experience. If you haven't signed up, there has been no better time. There's a risk-free £20 sign-up offer. So all you need to do is open an account, deposit £25, and the first bet is risk-free up to £20. So if you put it on the treble, say, that will read out later on. If you win, of course, your balance will be there for you to play with or withdraw. And if it loses, they'll give you that £20 back as cash. So loads of opportunities there to be a little bit braver maybe with your gambling with that safety net behind you. TFB podcast is the sign-up code. You'll need that to activate the offer. And we thoroughly recommend that you get involved, especially, the pod's been on some pretty good form recently with the combined trebles. So might be a great opportunity to check them out.
Yep, completely agree. Please do help support the pod and check that one out. Right, Champ League 1 and League 2 then, left to talk through. So we'll look at the Champ first. We spoke about this beforehand. There's 3 games, and there's 3 games you don't fancy, is there?
No, so this is going to be the Tom Pipkin segment because I'll be honest with you, I had to look at these and started digging into them and it turned me off pretty quickly. So take it away, mate. This is like a Zoom call. If this was a Zoom call, I'd stick myself on mute and go to the bathroom or something. Probably.
Just let me talk, yeah.
So, take it away.
Well, the docket isn't exactly throbbing, is it?
No.
As you'd say. this week. But yeah, two things that I like in the three Championship fixtures. One is essentially a carbon copy of last week. So you might remember if you listened to the pod, you clipped it up and put it out on Twitter. I tipped Preston to score 2+ goals at home to Bristol City. This week we've got Blackpool at home to Bristol City, and I'm gonna go for the same thing again. So Blackpool to score 2+ goals, over 1.5 goals, however you want to word it. 2.34 is the price for that, and exactly the same reasoning as we had for the Preston tip last week. Bristol City have now conceded 2+ goals in 9 consecutive Championship away games. You know, it's a shocking run of form that they're on. They've not won in the last 8 games on the road, conceded 2 in every single one of them, at least 2. So I'm just looking for a continuation of that trend, really. I feel like it's one of those. Now I've identified it a couple of weeks ago, I'm just going to keep rolling it out until it loses. So,
Yeah.
2.34. I appreciate Blackpool aren't exactly the highest free scoring team in the Championship, but I can't go against these trends at the moment. So, yeah, that's one. And then the second one, I like the look of Blackburn on the double chance. They're away at Swansea this weekend. Did you look at Blackburn at all, or just kind of think?
Yeah, the double chance. It did interest me, but there's something about Blackburn. I think I need a couple of weeks off backing them because they're looking not wobbly. I mean, before they were on absolute fire, right? Now they're starting to plateau a little bit, and I'm just not ready to trust them at the moment.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I just look at Swansea. You know, they've got 1 win in 9. They've lost 7 of those games, 6 of those games. Sorry. So they're not in very good form whatsoever. So I'm looking at Blackburn, obviously in better form. As you say, plateauing a little bit. They've won 2 of the last 5. 2 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss of those 5. So not on the win form that they were a few weeks ago. But I certainly think they've got enough about them at 1.47 to at least get a draw away at Swansea, who are in, like we say, no form whatsoever. Lost to Luton and to Hull last time out in the Championship. Not scored a goal for 3 consecutive games. So, yeah, not really offering much at the moment at Swansea. And I think Blackburn could at least get a draw, hence the security of the double chance, because I'm like you, I don't really trust them enough to go for them on the nose at, 2.9 I think they are on the nose, 2.94. So, yeah, they're a big price if you want to go for Blackburn outright. But, yeah, I think it's wiser to just have that extra bit of security at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Swansea are rubbish, aren't they? And they've got the Jamie Patterson issue as well at the moment. So, yeah, I can completely see where you're coming from. Are you expensed in the champ? I mean, only 3 games to choose from. I think you did well to come up with 2 bets, to be honest with you. So we'll slide into League One, and I'll get us kicked off with Sheffield Wednesday. They're away at Burton Albion. They're priced at 2.56. I am very hot on Wednesday at the moment. I think they're clicking into gear at the moment. I think I've mentioned this before, Tom, so regular listeners will be sick of me saying it, but as like the football public, we get an idea about a team at the start of the season, and that reputation can carry for way too long. So me and you keep saying Brentford, everyone still thinks they're decent. They're not, they're crap. But they're hanging on to that start that they made that's blistering, and then in everyone's mindset, they're pretty good. So using that example with Wednesday, obviously they've recently relegated and we're not very impressed, right? Overall, we've not overly been impressed. They've let us down quite a few times. But I think they're turning the corner at the moment. They've won 3 of the last 4 against Morecambe, Ipswich and Plymouth included in that. They've also been putting in some pretty good performances in defeat as well. A couple of weeks ago, they lost 5-0 to Sunderland, 1-0 to Shrewsbury, and that seems to, kind of like Blackburn when they lost 7-0, that seems to have been a turning point. Darren Moore brought in a couple of January signings. They're getting people like Windass back from full fitness. Sorry, he's been missing for a long time, and they just look a different side. I completely respect Burton. They're 10th in the league, right? Their optimistic fans will tell you they're in a chance of the playoffs, and you'll be hard to, there's no way you can tell them that they're not, really, if you look at the pure math. And I do respect where they are, but their results are kind of all over the place, and I find them hard to put their finger on, which is why they are hovering around that mid-table mark. I think Wednesday are in the groove, and if they put in a similar performance as we've seen recently, I think their kind of performance ceiling will be too high for Burton to reach.
Yep, I'd agree with that one, mate. Just a general point. I quite like the look of League One this weekend. We've come from the Prem, which is rubbish, the Champ, which is largely rubbish. League One, there's a few things here. That being one of them. Also being one of them for me, Ipswich to beat Gillingham, 1.42 is the price for Ipswich. So they are one of the shorter teams in League One this weekend. But for me, I think for fairly good reason. They've won 4 of the last 6 games. At home in the league, they've lost just 1 of 9, winning 6. And I look at Gillingham's away record, and yes, I'm kind of going against myself because I love a new manager bounce. Gillingham sacked Steve Evans. They've got Neil Harris in, won his first game in charge against Crewe last weekend. But I think there's a difference between playing Crewe at home, probably one of the easiest starts he could have wanted, really, all respect to Crewe. I think there's very much a difference between playing Crewe at home to Ipswich away. Gillingham have won just 1 of their 14 away games in the league so far this season, which is a shocking record. 20th best. Surprisingly, this is a team that's won 1 of 14, and it's only the 20th best in League One. There's 4 teams with worse away records than that in League One. So some shocking away teams in this division. But yeah, I think they're poor away. They're going to Ipswich, who are in very good home form in the league, and I think Ipswich can get another win here. I don't expect them to trounce Gillingham. I probably would have done about 3 weeks ago, but I think it'll be a lot tighter this week. But I do think Ipswich will ultimately prevail.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's too short, but maybe in an ACCA or something like that as a leg, I could see it for sure. I think Neil Harris, by the way, is an unbelievable appointment for Gillingham.
Yes, look, this is a side that, barring a mini miracle, is probably going to be a League Two side.
Yeah, and his last few jobs, I know he hasn't exactly been Pep Guardiola, but he's done all right. I think he's done way more to merit a job better than Gillingham, to be honest. But
100%.
yeah, maybe it's geographical. Maybe I don't know what the reason is, but fair play to him. Charlton playing against Wimbledon at home at the Valley, 1.92 for the Addicts. I haven't backed them for a while because I find them a little bit patchy under Johnny Jackson. And he had that blistering start when he didn't have the job, and then he got the job, and they've kind of gone to win 1, lose 1, draw 1 territory. So as punters, that's pretty hard to read. But I was reading into it a little bit more. They have won home games recently against Fleetwood, MK Dons, Ipswich and Cambridge. And their last game out, they beat Portsmouth on the road midweek. There's a few dodgy results in there as well. I'm not going to gloss over the fact that they lost against Crewe, which is definitely a red flag. But Wimbledon are in a bad place. No wins in their last 10. Joint second bottom in the last 8-game form table. And probably most worryingly of all, they failed to score in 6 of their last 9. So not good enough, I don't think, to get a win. Maybe they could squeeze a draw against Charlton. It all depends on which Charlton side turns up. But I think, if Charlton can go out at the Valley and beat, as I said, Fleetwood, decent team. MK Dons, very good team. Ipswich, very good individuals. Cambridge, capable on the day. and beat Portsmouth away, logic would say that they can beat a team that hasn't won in 10 at home.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say these as well. I have a slight extension,
Yeah,
a
take it
little
away.
bit of a fun extension. This isn't a solid tip at all, but the last 4 of the 5 home games that they've won in the last 5. So you mentioned they beat Fleetwood, Cambridge, Ipswich, Plymouth. They've all been 2-0. So another 2-0 here, 9.8.
Nice. Love it.
I've got one more for League One, and that is Bolton, 2.22 away at Morecambe. And that's just, I'm looking at Bolton. Ian Everett's at it again, isn't it? Isn't he?
He is, and it's
He's
driving
at
me
it
mad.
again.
It's driving
He's
me
at
mad.
it again. They've had a really good January window, to be fair to them. Dion Charles brought in from Accrington. He's hit the ground running already amongst the goals. I think, they're doing exactly what they did last season around this time in League Two, where they just went win, 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 win. And yeah, they've won 4 in a row. I absolutely don't think that they're going to get playoffs. I think it's far too, no, not a chance. It's far too gone. But, the run that they're on, I don't see it stopping this weekend against a Morecambe side who do tend to ship a fair amount of goals at home. They conceded 3 against Doncaster, 2 against Wickham, 2 against Wigan, 2 against Crewe, 4 against MK Dons, and that's in 5 of the last 6 games. So they are shipping a fair few goals at home, as I mentioned. And I think the form that Bolton are on, won the last 4 games, all to nil, full of confidence. Ian Everett's absolutely loving it. So yeah, I think 2.22 is a decent price this weekend for them.
It is. Weird analogy, but remember, like back in the Arsene Wenger, like Arsenal days, and he used to have Barca in the Champions League all the time.
Yeah.
And Wenger would insist on going toe to toe with them. No defensive mindset. He'd be like, no. We're going to pass you off the park. We're going to attack you off the park. And they'd always come unstuck. That's what Morecambe remind me of, but obviously of a lesser standard, of course. Like they just go for the throat, home, away, bad form, good form. It doesn't really matter to them. They just go out for the kill, basically. So I think they leave themselves very exposed. And you don't want to be exposed against this Bolton team at the moment. A little bit of a short price, Tom. I mean, there's 2 big flags here. A short price. And I've said time and time again, this opponent is someone I hate betting against. It's Rotherham. They're at home to Accrington Stanley. I mean, I've always said that I want to back Rotherham, home, away, don't care who they're playing, blah, blah, blah. And I've also said I hate betting against Accrington. So I don't really know where I land, but I know that Rotherham haven't lost in 16 home games, which is hard to ignore. Accrington haven't won in 5 on the road as well. Stanley on their day can beat anybody, really. And, that the fact that they beat Rotherham on Boxing Day shows that. I wish Rotherham were a little bit more kindly priced, is what I'm trying to say. But, I can't not look at Rotherham at home. 16 unbeaten at the New York Stadium. It's one of the best teams in the league at home, in a fortress against a wildly unpredictable Stanley team.
Yep. I can see them getting a win, definitely. And before we wrap up League One, quick one, Lee Johnson getting the sack, right decision, wrong decision?
Wrong decision.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah. It's tough, isn't it? They're in 3rd. Come on. I know they got absolutely battered by Bolton, and that seemed to be the nail in the coffin, but yeah, I don't know. It's a risky one, isn't it? Because they were comfortably going to finish in the playoffs at least.
I think if I was a Sunderland fan and just as a general overview, if a manager I like that is doing well gets removed, I'm expecting Lee Johnson sacked. The next day, Pep Guardiola installed. Like, I want to see you got rid of Lee Johnson because this guy's available and this guy's going to be better for us and he's ready to go. It's done behind his back, whatever. It happens all the time in football. You know, that's what I want to see. I don't want to see, as a Sunderland fan, Lee Johnson sacked. We might get Roy Keane, or we might get this, or we might get that. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's my issue with it. That's my issue. I think on the road, Sunderland took some batterings, didn't they? So I think Louis Dreyfus is not very happy.
Yeah, but I think I don't know. I'm not a Sunderland fan. I don't follow them in absolute great detail at all. But from a neutral, I look at it. I see them in third in the league. They've got the best home record in the league. They've got the fifth best away record in the league. So yes, they've been battered a few times, but they've only lost 5 away from home in the league.
One thing I will say, it's 2 quick points. I think in 2022, fans have more of a say over a manager's position more than ever before. We saw it, Tom, with Chris Hughton at Forest. As soon as Forest fans start chanting, you're getting sacked in the morning and, boring football, blah, blah, blah. There's only so long that can go on for, and the fans have got huge power. And the second point I'll say as well is style of play is almost becoming more important than results. Almost. It will never, ever take over. But, if you are mid-table and you're playing nice football and you're being entertaining and the fans can see that you're trying to win games, that keeps you in the job longer than, being mid-table, having the same points, the same goals for, the same goals against, and playing this like turgid football. So I think those two maybe went against Streaky Lee as well.
Yeah, well, case in point, again, we've seen West Brom sack Ishmael, haven't we?
Yes.
In 2 days ago, I think it was, maybe yesterday. The fans have voted with their feet. You see empty crowds at the Hawthorns for weeks, all over social media and on TV. They're just not turning out because they think the football's crap, despite the fact they're in 5th in the Championship.
Yeah.
So, even though results have been fairly decent to be occupying a playoff spot in the Champ, but he's gone, and they now have Steve Bruce in on an 18-month deal. So I don't know whether that's much of an upgrade, to be honest. But
well, no, but
hey,
he wouldn't be my pick. But that's what I'm trying to say, right? They got rid of Ismail, and clearly they had Bruce lined up, and now Bruce is in, and that's all happened since Johnson went. West Brom have got a man out and a man in. They're just more organised, I think.
Yeah.
Let's move on to League Two. Before we went on air, I think you said you weren't overly convinced about anything in League Two. Do you have anything at all, or?
I have one.
Okay.
Yeah, Tranmere, 2.62 away at Barrow. Don't know if you had this one yourself, but I look at Tranmere's record. I appreciate they lost 4-0, got absolutely battered by Forest Green, 4-0. Last weekend was that? Now,
2 games ago.
But aside from that, they've won 9 out of the last 11 games. So, that's one defeat in 11 games against the runaway league leaders. I'm going to forgive them for that. I'm going to look at the other 9 victories that they've had, and I'm going to think they're going to beat Barrow, who are 20th in the league. This is Tranmere, who are second, flying, and I just think if they didn't get battered by Forest Green, I think a lot more people will be pro Tranmere this weekend. If we just take that result in isolation, treat it as an anomaly, 2.62 is a massive price for a team that, as I say, was won 9 in 11 and is in second in the league.
Yeah, I think it's totally huge. With you. Yeah, they essentially got beaten by a lower end League One team. Like Forest Green are clearly a cut above this level, and they're clearly going to win the league. So no disgrace there. I'm completely with you.
Barrow's home form as well. I just forgot to mention Barrow's home form. They've lost 5 of the last 7. Those 5 losses, they've been to Salford, Mansfield, Bradford, Crawley, Rochdale. So if we take Mansfield out of the equation, there are 4 teams there who are just bang average mid-table League Two sides there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like they've been beaten by top teams at home recently.
Yep.
So I think if Tranmere play it, you say it a lot. Play this game 10 times. Tranmere for me win 8.
Yeah, yeah, totally with you. Decent little segue, and we were just talking about Forest Green, and they're playing against Newport this weekend. I almost tipped them up on the nose at 2.0. Regular listeners will know that I normally say, them and Rotherham, no matter where they are, the opponent, their form, etc., I'll back them. This week I'm going to break that because Newport are on fire, to be honest with you, and I'm a bit nervous. But both teams to score seems likely because this is first against second in terms of League Two attacks. So that's exciting. Forest Green, in their last 6 games, scoring an average of 1.83 goals a game. And Newport, in their last 6, they have scored an average of, you've guessed it, 1.83 goals per game. The only scupper that I found this, I didn't realise how excellent both defences had been in that time. So Forest Green, 0.33 goals per game conceded over the last 6. Newport averaging 1 per game in their last 6. So defence is on top, but I'm basically backing the first v second in attacks is what's leaping off the page to me. The price is 1.83 for both teams to score. And if you don't have any more, I will round us off. Tom?
Yeah, I'm just looking at Dom Telford's goal record whilst you're speaking there.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
The
Really
guy
good.
can't score a goal. He's scored about 18 in the last 14 games, I think it is, at that quick count.
He,
Fire.
Yeah, surely he's going to get a move in the summer. Surely.
Yeah, you definitely think so.
It's not often a striker like that at League One, League Two level goes unnoticed for long, is it?
But it's like he scored about 2 goals in the first 10 games of the season. Then he just went, no, right, I'll turn it on now. Beast mode activated, yeah?
I know, yeah, honestly. They did well to keep hold of him, let's be honest. But
yeah, absolutely. So, no more from me anyway.
Okay.
Feel free to round up.
Yeah, it's just the one more. There isn't a price at the moment on the Matchbook. I've literally just checked maybe 20 seconds ago. But I think Northampton, away at Walsall, you'll be able to get. Northampton, not been great recently. They've won 1 in 6. But they've got the performance levels in them to be better. They're 5th in the league for a reason. And Walsall are in another bad spell. They seem to be quite streaky, I think. They seem to be awful, decent, awful, which is why they're not further towards the relegation zone, because they've had 1 or 2 decent spells where they've, gone unbeaten in 5 or something like that. And right now they're going through one of those no wins in 6, 5 losses in a row. And they've all been against top 10 teams, which Northampton are, of course. And the final little cherry on top of this cake, Tom, this is the worst set-piece team against the best set-piece team. So maybe that will come into play.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like it, mate. I like it. Okay, so bomb-proof trebles.
Yeah, we'll quickly review last week's. We'll just blitz through that.
That was a deflated.
Well, it's just disappointing because, do you know what? We took quite a bit of heat on Twitter for having Forest. I think people were just a bit disappointed. But, we backed, as we said, second best team in the league since Cooper came in. Again, away, third best away record, I think, at the time, against the worst home record in the entire division. And they just didn't turn up. That's the worst I've seen Forest under Cooper by an absolute mile. And it happens. But, obviously, they lost 2-1. We had QPR comprehensively beat Reading 4-0. And Mansfield, they beat Leyton Orient 2-0. So it was just that one leg. But as you mentioned, Tom, new week, new opportunities. So I'm excited for you to reveal this week's treble to the viewers and listeners.
Yeah, so once again, this treble is best priced on Matchbook. So price overall for the treble is 8.4. Looking earlier, I think the next best might have been Bet365, and then Betway at around 7.98. So get much more for your money with Matchbook. And of course, just to reiterate, you can get that £20 money back as cash sign-up offer for trying. So you can try out Matchbook using the sign-up code TFB podcast. And that is a promo over. The actual treble is Bolton at home. Bolton away in their game against Morecambe. Ipswich at home to Gillingham. And then Sheffield Wednesday away at Burton Albion. So a completely League One treble this weekend. I think if we do it like that, we avoid any kind of team selection mishaps, in the FA Cup or whatever. So yeah, 8.4 is the price for those three teams to get the victory. £10 is ample stake, which will return you £84. The £20 money back as cash free bet offer from Matchbook if you're a new registration sign up. That's what, 84 times 2. How's your quick maths? 168 quid returns, right?
Wow, look at that. Not even rehearsed, just on the spot. Yeah.
That's the 8 moments for you.
Really exciting treble. We'll see what happens there over the weekend. And yeah, as we said, we want to see who's backing it. We want to see who's backing their own bets and stuff like that. And the best thing to do is to get in touch with us and share the love on Twitter, T_FB podcast. Road to 2K is on the way. We need less than 100 followers now. So please give us a follow if you have a Twitter profile.
Yeah, and if you have enjoyed the show, we'd really appreciate it if you could leave a rating or review wherever you're listening to your podcasts.
Or watch them.
Or watch them, yeah. And we are on YouTube as well. And one final point. Kit Wars, you may have seen on social media the Kit Wars poll that you put out every week, Tom. You were 3-0 up.
Yeah,
and I'm now 3-0. I can't actually believe that from being 3-0 down, I'm now 3-0. I didn't think I was going to win one for the entire second half of the season.
I've got a theory. I think the Profit Chasers is trying to make it interesting. So I don't know. I've bust out some absolutely incredible kits. And if it means that I have to spend my entire month's salary on more kits to win this, I absolutely will, as you can see. So, yeah.
It just makes me laugh. You had that cracking France 98 shirt or whatever it was.
Euro 96.
France Euro 96 shirt. And I had as much as I love the custom-made Wrexham one you made for me.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be your really nice France.
No, I know, but that's what I mean. I think maybe it's a you've got the public on side, I think.
Thank you, public.
The masses love Tom Pipkin.
Let's hope you like Nuremberg this week.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Anyway, thank you for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you again as ever next week. Good luck for the bets this weekend.